After having researched for a fair few months and listened to a lot of your advice out there, which I thank you for, I have finally picked my first Sony lens, and I couldn't be more chuffed. The lens that I have chosen is the 24-70 G Master Mark II. Now I got it down to this and the 24-50. It was very up in the air of which one I wanted, but I went with the 24-70 and I went for the Mark II, make that very clear. But out of all the lenses I could have chose, why did I pick this one? Here are my 5 reasons. Okay, number 1 is the focal length. 24-70 on a full frame sensor really does cover pretty much most of your work, from portraits to landscapes. Coming from using a 16-55 on my Fujifilm, this really is the kind of perfect sweet spot, I think. Like right now I'm using it for this YouTube video at 24mm, and at 70 I'm using it for this kind of work. So you can see how powerful and useful that this lens is going to be. I've heard people say this is the lens they pretty much only ever use and haven't touched anything else. So it seemed like a no-brainer. Yes, God, it was expensive, and I bought it used too. It was more expensive than my Sony a7 IV, but already I'm so impressed and I can't wait to really, let this fly and test it out properly. The second reason I purchased this lens over another lens I was thinking about, the Sigma 24-70, was because of its native system. It being a Sony lens, I had read about just slight differences between the two lenses, particularly for video and stabilization. I have found people saying the stabilization in this lens over the Sigma is slightly better. And I think if I'm going to buy just one lens that's going to stay with me for the foreseeable, which I see a long time, I might as well just go all in on this. So you can see my rationale with this is that why not just get the best straight away rather than notice and niggles and things that I didn't like in other lenses. And something like stabilization might definitely niggle me. The third reason I have picked this lens is because I do plan to do more filmmaking. Because before I really got into photography, I was a filmmaker. I still kind of consider myself a filmmaker, but on this channel, this is all about photography. And outside of this channel, I still do some filmmaking work. So it's good to have a lens which is going to perform very well. Like I said, having that native system, I know the stabilization is going to be good, and I'd love to create some more cinematic pieces on this channel with this lens. It has been a while since I've stretched that muscle, and I'd love to make more content that was a little bit more cinematic, a little bit more storytelling, rather than just as I am now, sitting here talking to you face on. So the third reason is definitely to shoot more video. But before we talk about the next point, I just want to tell you about the sponsor of this video. Today's sponsor comes from K&F Concept. They have sent me their 3-in-1 Nano X Series lens filter. Just so you know, I have used K&F filters before and they have been wonderful. I've had no problems with them and they're perfect for the job that they do. But the difference with this one is, like I said, it's a 3-in-1, which is a VND, a variable neutral density filter, a CPL, which is a circular polarizer, and a black diffusion, like a black mist filter, if you will, with a quarter strength. So there's a lot of things going into this filter, which makes it a perfect choice for me. It comes in this beautiful little case, which is just very small and discreet, and it has this lovely little toggle which helps pull out without getting your greasy thumbs on the filter. Like I said, I've used K&F filters for a long time and they've always done an exceptional job. So if you're interested, I have left a link in the description. Go check out this filter particularly. 3-in-1 is such a benefit to have, and other than being a VND, I really do think having a circular polarizer and a black mist filter, it really does soften out your image and takes away those reflections with that CPL. Overall, a top quality product. So some of you might be asking, why didn't you go for the original G Master, the Mark I? Because it is substantially a lot cheaper. But as a travel photographer, I do like to keep my stuff kind of lightweight and flexible. And the G Master Mark II is considerably smaller and lighter. And that has to be a factor when purchasing a lens, particularly for my needs. So if I'm ever going on a trip, I want my gear to be as small as possible. Granted, this isn't the smallest setup in the world, and that is why I was toying with the 24-50. And maybe the 24-50 might present itself at some point, but for now, this is the lens I've gone with. And like I said, particularly because I want to shoot more video with this setup. Okay, and the fifth reason for me for buying this lens is it is going to be the one lens I buy, full stop. I'm hoping that, fingers crossed, I have purchased a lens that is just going to be my workhorse. Like I said, it's going to do all my video, it's going to do all my photography. You should always have a backup lens, I agree, and I can hear a lot of people, in the comments already. I will be considering other lenses, and there have already been people and brands reaching out to me to try out their lenses with the Sony camera. There is a lens I do want to try. Maybe you can comment below which lens I'm thinking of, because I've had my eye on this lens for a while, and I'd really like to try it out. To give you a hint, it is a prime, but yeah, this is the one lens I want to do all my work with. A bit like my Sigma 18-35 on my Fuji camera. For the first year I had my X-H2S, that did pretty much 80% of my work, and this is going to be the same, and that will be for all my YouTube and client work. For my photography, I am still predominantly using my Fujifilm X106 and my Ricoh GR3X. That's my kind of street photography setup. But for work, for professional kind of client, one-to-one, YouTube, all that kind of stuff, it's going to be this. So hopefully I don't have to keep swapping around. We'll see. I am someone who from time to time suffers with gas. I'm hopeful with this that I'm becoming a bit more wise in my age, and not getting too hung up on trying new gear all the time. Like I said, I want to make this a photography first channel rather than a gear related, brand affiliated channel. But if you're interested in why I switched, you should watch this video here.